Hello guys, good evening, konbawa from here in Tokyo, Japan. Thank you guys for listening to my rants. Maybe some of you guys think I'm crazy, maybe some of you guys think like this guy's insane, but sometimes I just like to rant, vent, and just talk about the market, talk about trends and what's going on. Because here in Tokyo, the trends here are a little bit more different compared to the West in America. Because Uh, I'm uh, I'm living here now in Japan, and I start to kind of see some patterns between the TCGs and the culture and the trends in collectibles. And many people who started the hobby right away got into it for the profit. But today I want to be sharing my story about what got me into collecting, why I started collecting, and one of the reasons why I continue to collect. So what made me start was back in 2019. This was like in the tag team era days, right? The GX All Stars and everything, right? Back then, I literally can remember from the time when I first started, I collected straight up vintage cards because I wasn't really aware of the modern cards because I did not know what set. I just looked for the Neo series and the base, right? And I look for like things that I remember in my childhood, which is like the Charizard, but at the same time, the CD promo Charizard was kinda in my mind the whole time. And back then here it was cheap, right? Better than now. Also some of the gold stars and everything, but I wasn't really aware of the modern. So I've seen all the cards that I would say that are crazy in prices right now, like the Latias GX, people call the Lovebirds, which I find it very weird because they're brothers and sisters. Or I'm not sure if Pokemon. Wait, did Pokemon? Correct me if I'm wrong. Please comment down below that maybe they're not siblings. But anyways, that's for another topic. But that Lovebirds GX tag team, I remember that card cost 5,000 yen. The Mario Pikachu was actually pretty, at least kind of expensive. I remember the Mario Pikachu, no, sorry, the Luigi Pikachu. That was like around 20,000 yen, Niman. 20,000 yen, which is like maybe roughly about 150, 140 US dollar. And yeah, it was a pretty, I would say, nice card, but at the same time, back then I was really focusing on vintage a lot, and I collected the cards that I got gravitated towards most, which is like the base, Blastoise, Venusaur, Charizard, what else? Umbreon, uh, Espeon, Feraligatr, the Neo starters, right? The Gen 2 starters, the Typhlosion, because back then even the Lugia, the non-holo from Neo, the purple one, uh, those cards were really nostalgic to me because as a kid I remember in the second grade I literally fought people for those cards. And yeah, well, as a kid, you kind of remember those good times and you kind of remember those childhood moments where everything was just more free. And now, when you're an adult, you kind of have the finances to invest in your childhood. And cool, if I'm not mistaken, yes. And even those amazing artwork with that promos. So a lot of the times back then, I looked at those cars and it was a little bit out of price range because think about it, guys. Yes, they cost like around 5,000 yen. But at the same time, back then, my budget for car was like 5,000 yen. Like, who would buy that for 5,000 yen? or even 10,000 yen, right? You're kind of like, those are just cards. But now, fast forward, 2020, 2020, the Logan Paul. I remembered it became crazy, and then there was a Charizard 2021 illustration contest Charizard. That was the most hype pump Charizard for grading back then, compared to the McDonald's Pikachu now, the Van Gogh, the Umbreon, VMAX from EV Heroes, right? Evolving Skies. The population for that card, the Charizard illustrated illustration contest, was insane. Many people forgot about that card because everyone started collecting after 2022. The reason why is because here in Japan, also in 2021, it was a lockdown, and not many foreigners could get their hands on actual cards, right? Basically, they need to go through a middleman, so it was really empty. The streets were empty. I remember hunting for cars was much more fun and easier because it was less crowded. The shops had more space, and no foreigners are allowed. And fast forward to now, it's crazy. You will see all the foreigners gather up and buy out all the shops, and now the shops would have limits about 10 cards, 8 cards per person because of, I don't know if it's transaction issues or something, but it's crazy the fact that so many people are just throwing and investing and buying up all the things here in Japan, which makes foreigners, I would say, not foreigners, sorry, locals more kind of annoyed because they're trying to enjoy the hobby here, and you got outsiders. I can call outsiders because you guys come to visit Japan and you guys don't live here. So outsiders come here and try to take everything that we like, right? It's also our hobby as well. So it's pretty, I would say, insane that these locals kind of turn their like turn their head and kind of close a one eye and just ignore it. But same time, I think people who live in Japan should speak up more because even these foreigners would like try to bargain. It's not like the States where you guys can go to a vendor and, I would say, flip double or nothing or this and that or bargain. But here in Japan it's different. You kind of have whatever the sticker price is, unless you're like so close to the owner of the store, then maybe you could, because I know some store owners like Card Secret, Andrew. So I did so many deals with this guy. He's a pretty cool guy. I did a lot of Lugia trades, Mew and Mewtwo tag team, GX. I would say the one from Cosmic Eclipse, the tins. I remember I had those in the PSA 10 as well. And yeah, Andrew's a pretty cool guy. Car Secret. I remember when their shop was smaller and now it relocated to a bigger shop, but even he actually was one of the people that literally did it for the hobby as well. Gave some information. I kind of feel like people right now don't have a niche, they follow trends, but a guy like Jake loves to follow his niche, which he likes to collect Pikachu cards, right? So that's exactly what everyone needs, is to kind of have a niche and find your reason, not to follow trends and hypes. Be your own trendsetter, right? Be your own unique person. I'm a guy that collects basically, yeah, it's weird, right? I collect almost everything. I collect Digimon. I love Black War Greymon. I love Gilmon. I love Agumon. I love War Greymon. If I were to pick a gen, I love, to be honest, all gens is nice. Gen 1 of Digimon was goated because I love the Dark Masters. And for Gen 2, I also like the storyline because it was cool of the ending where they kind of ended it in a different universe, not universe, in a different world where one of the antagonists basically guard now he basically guards the Digimon world, and the ending was pretty sad as well because he was actually a good guy as well, and he did it all for his friend who passed away. And then Gen 3 was Tamers, or was that Gen 4? Because there's also Gen 4. I think Gen 4 was Frontiers. Frontiers was also great. I like Gen 4 because of Lucemon, the final the final antagonist was a pretty nice storyline. Imagine a devil Digimon in Earth's core, trying to be revived by the Royal Knights. And Gen 3 for me is my favorite. It's Goated Tamers. I love it because it was a pretty dark Digimon series. I suggest people should watch Digimon. To be honest, I always talked about Digimon is a more violent version of Pokemon. It's literally like Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon put together. Digimon is goated in terms of the TV show. People can learn a lot. And yes, sorry I swerved into Digimon, but I collect Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Dragon Ball, Naruto, what else? Uh, I collect Kingdom Hearts. I collect one. Did I say One Piece? Yes, maybe I did say One Piece already. But I collect a lot of things that are Japanese, and I try to aim for Japanese exclusive and Japanese vintages. And as you can see, I'm a big One Piece fan. So my phone case here, I rock a Mihawk. So my favorite character is Mihawk in One Piece. So, Pokemon, I love Lugia. In Yu-Gi-Oh, Maji Maji. I love Maji Maji Magician Gal because the artwork and the card design is very unique. And it was printed in 2011 and never reprinted, reused, and redone in another card or artwork or reused artwork since then. That card is gonna be basically almost what? Almost gonna be a 20-year-old card, and hopefully hopefully I wish they make a overframe card of it. And yeah, that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball for me, I like to make a video about talking about the IP of Dragon Ball because it was so strong. The TV show, the movies was so powerful and it impacted everyone's childhood. But I'll save that for another video, guys. Naruto as well, childhood. Many people talked about One Piece, but not many people really. I've I literally collected and watched anime since 2020. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has been talking about One Piece till the TCG card came out. I collected 2022 when Japanese first released, before English even released. Nobody was talking about One Piece. Nobody. And now all of a sudden everyone's a One Piece fan and it's the best anime in the world and this and that. To me that's just there. If you love One Piece, you I watched One Piece when I was a child, when I was still young, and I remember watching it, and that's the reason why I love Mihawk because as a kid when I saw Mihawk fought with Zoro back in 2009, 9 or 10, I remember. But of course, it was already late release, right, in English. But I remember that this character was just so cool, right? A guy that sits on a freaking on his mini ship with candles on his freaking chair and with his sword on his back, looks like a cross, and he looks like a crucifier. He looks pretty sick. So yeah, I think growing up, I like characters with aura. One of the reasons why I like Lugia in Pokemon and Mihawk in One Piece. I like Gogeta or Super Saiyan 4 Goku in Dragon Ball because the aura. I don't know. Maybe I like Conqueror's Hockey, right? So, Super Saiyan as well. Super Saiyan 4 for me is Goated GT. And Moving on to Pokemon again. My favorite's Lugia and Suicune, and my favorite starter's Totodile. And yeah, so many times I would kind of get questions about what goes on here in Japan, and I want to say about Pokemon, where Pokemon is freaking the IP, the franchise is the most expensive franchise in the world, right? We could put it up there with like I don't know, maybe even bigger than Coca-Cola. No? Uh, Is it? Maybe. But Pokemon is freaking huge, guys. It's bigger than Disney and everything. Pokemon is like on a like another league. But when we talk about Yu-Gi-Oh, right? People say Yu-Gi-Oh was dead, this and that. I live in Japan, guys. Maybe Yu-Gi-Oh was dead in your place, but in Japan, Yu-Gi-Oh was bigger than Pokemon at one time, and that was like before the Pokemon boom. That was like what before 2022. Basically, Yu-Gi-Oh ran the TCG here. So when people say Yu-Gi-Oh was dead, it was never dead. It just slowed down. So many people think, it's this, and that. There's a reason why Yu-Gi-Oh keep reprinting the same card and artwork because it's popular. But at the same time, people hate Konami because they keep they don't listen to the collectors, right? But at the same time, Yu-Gi-Oh has always been around. One thing people need to realize here in Japan is the market in Japan can survive and thrive without other countries' interest. If Pokemon were to die out in the States, Japan doesn't even care. Pokemon in Japan it can survive. Same with Yu-Gi-Oh, same with anything. One Piece, Dragon Ball. Japan is its own world. We don't need other countries' own how can I say praises or I would say collaboration, this and that to make it huge. Of course, they're doing it right now because they know that what people are willing to buy it overseas with the currency in a better rate, right? Company in Japan earning US dollar and overseas. Come on, guys, makes a lot of sense. That's the reason why it started to branch out into global like phenomenon in terms of commercials and advertisement because they know that people will consume outside of Japan because they have a better currency. They have more it in terms of consumer base. They spend money more, right? There's a reason why people say in America that the average person basically has a few hundred or a few $1,000s in their bank account because they consume a lot. And there you go, guys. It's true. The English market does that. They consume a lot of these overpriced reprints, and I'll make or should we even talk about it? English cards are blue box, blue bottom, white bottom. That is all just facade, guys. That's just all. If you don't believe me, where are the OP15? Where are the English OP15 cards for English? Not yet released, right? So you're waiting for your what? Your NL first print manga to release. No, right? First print, really? Okay, so Japan is first print until global release. And my take on it is when Japan and English US starts to have this universal release, watch the price get even more stable because the cards will be readily available everywhere. The reason why Japan is crazy having hard time right now in the One Piece like releases because foreigners come here to buy them. Distributors come here to sell overseas. Now if English have their own release, Japanese have their own release the same day, boom, the market flatlines because it's available everywhere at the same time. So I don't understand why people think that English cards are the first prints, but in reality, guys, it's already been written in stone from OP16. or 17, I don't know. It's already been written in stone that Japanese printed first till whatever date it starts to simultaneously global release date for One Piece. But from OP 16, 17 and below, Japanese are older. Same with Pokemon, same with Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG as well. Same with Pokemon as well. First edition cards in English are reprints, guys. Same artwork. Don't believe me? Would you rather have a Mitsuhiro Arita artwork signature signed from Arita himself to sign an English Charizard or a Japanese Charizard? Simple, guys. No rarity Charizard. Come on, guys. It's literally, and also at the same time, for example, let me move to Pokemon now. This is one of the best things that I can compare because Pokemon in Japan prints better quality in Japanese card. English cards prints worse quality for English, of course, right? But at the same time, you have to think about this as well. Why pay overpriced for bad quality? So that you want to send it for grading? So you just want the opinion of the graders, right? When you already know your opinion on English cards is already terrible. I actually don't get what people are trying to do. Japanese cards are better quality. So if you grade it, yes, of course, there's gonna be more. But it doesn't change the fact that the quality of Japanese is better than English. Do you guys can see the difference here? Like what I'm trying to say? A PSA 10 English doesn't mean it's better quality than Japanese. Because if you put them next to each other, which one stands out more? The Japanese card. So just because people think that I can read it, I can understand it. Really, guys, I can understand it. Are you even gonna play with it? Can you play TCG with a slab? I actually don't get people sometimes. So yeah, that's another rant that maybe I should do for another video. But I get kind of baffled at the how can I say the people's perspective in terms of collecting, right? Like I keep saying, for all trading card games, the only thing that will matter are serialized cards, tournament prize cards, exclusive cards. Anything that you can pull from modern sets are almost literally available. There's a reason why, for me, I'll never think that these boxes, like I would say One Piece, OPO1, is gonna be valuable in the future. Guys, there are still sealed vintage items. Still vintage items from 20 years ago. What makes you think it's gonna run out when One Piece got printed in 2023, 3 or 4 years ago? Okay, there are cards that are printed 30, 40 years ago, and there's still tons of them lying around. Yes, they're expensive, but it's still lying around, right? We don't even know actually how many they printed, how many I would say boxes, cases they print, but same with One Piece, right? Same with Yu-Gi-Oh, same with all TCGs. You still can find sealed boxes. Yes, it's expensive, but you can still find them. So the only thing that I'm just guessing is people are just having FOMO. And if you have FOMO, that's on your personality, right? That's on you if you want to burn your money. But I don't understand why people pay overpriced for English reprints when already they're printed in bad quality. Come on. And then for Bandai, for One Piece, think about it, Tua. You're saying right now, people are saying, wow, the texture on English cards are just crazy. The card in English, I can show you right now. There's gonna have a corner here that says where it's from. Look at your English cards. In Japan, it shows made in Japan. In English, it says you see the difference because Japanese cards are just much more appealing because the language doesn't cover the artwork. So you would see that the cards are very identical, but at the same time, people think English. I don't know why people think English One Piece cards are harder to grade. They're literally printed same from Japan. So I think there's like rumors, or there's these people who are spreading wrong information, false information. So yeah, thank you guys for listening to my rant. Sorry for maybe attacking English collectors, but I want to keep the truth out there, guys. The truth out there is always it's facts I'm spreading. If you guys wanna argue like with me, I ain't gonna lie. Comment down below. Comment down below. I love to hear you guys' thoughts. We can talk about ARS grading as well on the next video, between ARS versus Black Label, ARS versus the world, ARS versus PSA, CGC, tag, anything. And I'm, one thing I like about me, I like having conversations. So if you guys are willing to do a live video with me, talk, maybe talk about I how can I say? We can talk about how we see the hobby together, people's perspective. It would be great. I would like to talk with one of these guys, one of the people that I kind of gravitate mindset to was SM Pratt, Scott. Him, and there was another guy. What was his name? Damn. I think he was one. He was one of the capitalism runs the world, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Bye bye. Peace.